right, so we are here with Allison Murray, the customer relations manager. I know I was going to mess it up. We all have
All
like
good.
hypothetical titles, I feel
Yeah,
like here, but
and they're very easily interchangeable.
yeah,
But yeah, customer relations
yeah.
manager.
And so in your job, you handle a lot of support tickets and things like that, and dealing with customers before and after they purchase their van. Can you kind of go through like, all right, I've had my van, something is wrong. What is kind
Hmm.
of the process that somebody should take from
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, so we have an entire team in-house
Mm-hmm.
that is dedicated to supporting van owners once they're on the road. And to be clear, that can be if you purchased your van from Vandoit
Mm-hmm.
or if you purchased your van privately, on the market.
Yeah.
We're seeing that happen a lot. And we want everyone to know if you own a Vandoit, you can reach out to us
Yeah,
for
I would
support.
I would think that's pretty unique. Like
Yeah.
somebody getting a third party van do it. Like we
Uh-huh.
built it, but now we will still support that van after the fact.
Right. Yeah. Like if I bought my Honda from a Honda dealership, they're not necessarily going to be like, yeah, hey, we're here to help you out. I mean, I would hope they would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to know you and your van and how you're using it and make sure that it's serving the purposes for which you purchased it.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we do that is through an online support ticket system. So from the Vandoit website, and you're probably going to throw some B-roll in here,
Yeah.
like the top menu bar says support. You click there. When that page opens up, there's a couple different options. There's a yellow button, and of course I can't recall right now exactly what it says.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe enter customer support portal.
Yeah, something like that.
Once you click that yellow button, then there's two things you can do. One thing is the knowledge base. So we have a lot of articles that we've written that inform owners about the components in their van.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are simply like educational. Here's what to know about your electrical system,
Yep.
or here's what to know about maintaining your S-bar heater. And then other articles are more troubleshooting. Like, hey, if you see that the Max Air fan is not functioning properly, here are a few steps to follow, and then here's what to reach out to our team with. That
Yeah.
way, like, we know what you've already tried,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can step in if that doesn't resolve what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
So there's helpful photos, videos. There's even some of the user manuals for third-party
Mm-hmm.
products that we install in
Yeah.
the vans. That can be really handy if you're like, oh, I need to find out like how often to service my water heater, for
Yeah.
example. So the knowledge base is a great place to begin. If you search through there, you don't find what you're looking for, then the other option in the support portal is to create a ticket.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of an account setup process, as with most things these days. And then when you send a ticket, you just describe what's going on
Mm-hmm.
or the set of questions that you have. And we always ask owners to include photo or video, or both, of what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Because when our team can see what you're experiencing, we can give more accurate direction.
Yeah.
And just to give an example, if someone were to say, I don't remember what this switch does.
Mm-hmm.
Can you remind me what it does? There are many, many switches in our
Yeah.
vans, and switches have changed design over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So I could operate on an assumption and give you direction on the switch I think you're talking
Yeah.
about, and I'll probably end up misdirecting you.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, hey, send me a photo of the switch. Okay, great. Now
Yeah.
we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's remarkable, like, how easy it is for any member of our team to go down the road of, I think I'm giving you the right direction, on a completely different part of the van.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, send in your support ticket. When it's submitted, it shows up to our team in a way that every team member can view it.
Mm-hmm.
Every team member can respond to it.
Yep.
And so you might get a response from me initially, but then Marcus chimes in,
Mm-hmm.
and Ian chimes in as well. And there's even a couple of other team members who might chime in. And I always remind people that, like, you can submit a support ticket if you want to purchase something for your van.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's a component you didn't pick up the day you purchased your van, reach out to us and we can probably make that possible. So often what happens is there's just some messages back and forth. We might ask you some questions to clarify, and then we'll give you some steps to try. I would say 8 to 9 out of 10 times we can work with the owner to give them the direction they need to troubleshoot on their own.
Okay.
And we really appreciate just that two-way communication. And sometimes, it makes sense to schedule a phone call instead of trying to communicate through email, which is the ticket system. So we'll get on a phone call, walk the owner through the steps, things get resolved.
Yeah.
In some situations, it's not that straightforward.
Yeah.
Or an owner might say, hey, I'm not super handy. I don't feel comfortable with this, or I've got some other sort of limitation. That's totally fine. Let us know that. Because in some situations, maybe it makes sense to make an appointment at a local RV dealership. And our team will do that for you. Like, we'll call some shops in your area. We'll vet which ones are best suited to do the work.
Yeah.
We can set up the appointment for you and then be a liaison with the shop. If they've got questions, they can call us. We'll walk them through the steps and get you up and running.
Yeah.
It's not like we say, hey, there's an RV shop down the road. Good luck.
Yeah.
And then there's also some situations where it's really best if the van can come back to Vandoit.
Yeah.
So that our service team can work on it. Something that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, or maybe are becoming aware of, is we have a service department.
Yeah.
But that team are the people who are building your vans. When they're not working on a service appointment, they're on the production line, they're building a van, or maybe they're working on a van that's been traded in, and they're bringing it up to current factory standards.
Yeah.
So they know every system, they know every generation of every system that we've used.
From like 2016 to now.
Yeah, exactly. If we tell them, hey, X issue is happening with this person's Max Air fan, they probably know exactly how to troubleshoot and solve it.
Yeah.
So we want people to know that, because it brings that level of confidence of like, okay, these guys know all the guts of the van.
Yeah.
And not only are we going to make sure that we solve the problem correctly, but we'll also be able to look at your van and offer ideas on potential upgrades. Maybe your van does not have the capability of jump starting the Ford battery. If the Ford battery dies, that's something we could install when your van's here for service. So, that happens here at our Blue Springs facility.
Yeah. Is that, it seems like the goal is to get somebody up and running where they live for the most part.
Yes. If that's how we can make it happen, and if we know that across the board for the customer, for us as a company, if the outcome is going to be satisfactory and it's going to be quality and lasting, yes, we're going to see if we can get you taken care of where you live or where you're traveling at the time. It's more of an exception than a rule for us to say, hey, it's really best if you come back to Blue Springs.
I would think a lot of those, and I don't know for sure, but a lot of them are probably like, hey, I have this nagging thing, but I also want to add some things. I'm coming through Kansas City anyway. Let's get this thing fine-tuned, as opposed to like, my air vent's out and I need to get it fixed now. And we can help you solve that where you live type of thing. So I always joke that like on the drive to Vandoit, at least 3 or 4 things are going to pop into somebody's head, and so when they pull in the morning of their appointment, they're like, oh, I thought of something else. Yep, great, let's see if we can get you taken care of. And depending on the scope of work, we have people who come in and their van gets taken care of in one day. If it's more involved or it's involving lots of systems, it might be 2, 3, 4 days. So just something to keep in mind, like if you're planning a cross-country trip and you want a service appointment at Vandoit, it's probably not just a quick pop in and out like you would at Target. It's going to be a little more involved, but we're going to get you taken care of. It's we have a schedule, a building process, and now it's fitting that in, and like, so it's kind of finding where we can get that van in, and so it's setting the expectation that it's not going to be just like a quick drive through McDonald's.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
maybe be here for a little
Yep.
bit, but
Exactly.
it seems pretty rare that a company would have, like, us being a one-stop shop, we're not done with you just because we sent you out the door with your van. It's that constant follow-up, making sure things are going well, and being there if something does happen to your van, where I would think, like, for example, Mastervolt, if another van has a Mastervolt system, they're probably just going to tell you to call Mastervolt.
Could be.
Where we're the ones calling Mastervolt and
Yeah.
dealing with that for you. So,
Yeah.
because we've dealt with things all not all the time, hopefully, but like we have service requests, so
Yeah. Yeah, and gosh, I lost my train of thought. So okay, you were talking about other van companies. Okay, so here was my train of thought. So the comment I get from a lot of owners is that they have been researching camper van companies for months, if not years.
yeah,
And often one of the main reasons they choose Vandoit is because we have a support team. There are a lot of great camper van builders out there, but like you said, they might build you a really great van and deliver it to you, or you pick it up from them, and then that's kind of the end of the relationship.
yeah,
That is not the case here. We like to say this is only the beginning,
yeah,
because we want to make sure that your van is satisfactory and serves you and your loved ones, and
Yeah.
all the reasons that you have a camper van in the first place.
yeah,
So a lot of people have found that that's just a distinctive about Vandoit that's pretty compelling.
yeah,
To know that you can send a support ticket, you can call our main phone number and reach someone who can help resolve whatever might be going on.
yeah,
So we want owners to feel free to reach out to us, even if the issue that they're dealing with or the question that they have is related to the Ford chassis. Because through the nature of what we do, we end up talking with Ford dealerships across the country.
yeah,
We're familiar with how they work. We're familiar with what their service technicians need to know about the Vandoit upfit and how it does or does not impact the Ford systems. So often it's helpful for a member of our team to get on the phone with the Ford dealership that's servicing your van,
yeah,
just to clear up any questions that there might be.
yeah,
Just as a quick example, Vandoit is a Ford certified upfitter,
Yep.
which means that the way we do our upfit does not void the Ford warranty. Sometimes, a Ford technician sees one of our vans roll in, they're not aware of that,
yeah,
and that's okay. But they make the assumption that because there's an upfit, it must have voided the Ford warranty and they've got to, be hands off.
yeah,
If we can get on the phone and explain to them how we've done our upfit, the conversation just changes really
Yeah.
quickly. And they're like, great, we're glad to service your van.
Yeah.
And there have even been some Ford dealerships who are like, hey, send us more of your vans. These are really cool.
yeah. we need just like a Vandoit plaque in every Ford dealership so they know when one comes in.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, I think it's really cool to it's got to give people that peace of mind that, like, I mean, in some ways, Vandoit is almost like a marriage. Like, it's a commitment for the life of the van that we're going to, like, take care of you as long as you have
Yeah.
things going on. So
Yeah, for sure.
I really appreciate you explaining that for people. I think it's going to be helpful for our current customers that may be, for some reason, unaware of how the process, like, fully works, or potential customers just, like, knowing that they have that safety net if something does happen. So
Yeah, I was actually speaking to a van owner recently. I think he has 2 of our vans, and he's had them for, I want to say, maybe going on 4 years now. And I was basically telling him much of what I just told you about basically the lengths to which our team will go to make sure that you get taken care of.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this. Because when he picked up his vans, we were a smaller operation.
Yeah.
We had a support team at the time, but it was kind of 1 or 2 people who put on the support hat,
yeah,
but then took it off to go do many, many other things,
Yeah.
including building the vans.
yeah,
So now that we have an established team whose time and focus is dedicated to supporting owners on the road, this was like a revelation to him, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, everybody needs to know this. You guys need to broadcast this." So I'm glad
Here
we're
we are.
doing this interview.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this. And
Yeah.
if you have issues, go to the website.
Yes.
So,
Or email support@vandoit.com. The ticket system recognizes your email address and it creates a ticket for you. And
that's good to know. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Allison.
Thanks, Lane.
Yep.